Welcome to the Galapagos Islands, one of the most uninhabited places on Earth. This is the land that inspired Charles Darwin. The Galapagos Islands are located off the western coast of Ecuador, approximately 600 miles from the mainland. The Galapagos Islands are the area where Charles Darwin first came up with his theory of evolution. It was basically the different types of finches that he saw and their different beaks across all of the different islands that caused him to come up with this amazing theory. When you're on the Galapagos Islands, you'll of course see many finches, and you'll also encounter some birds that you're familiar with. And of course, lots of birds that you're probably not as familiar with, like the frigate birds, and other species that are very interesting and unique to the islands here. There are several different species of birds called boobies, and these are the Nazca boobies. You can get very close to their nests and sometimes see them with their chicks or with their eggs in their nests. This is what the babies tend to look like. You may also encounter species that you're familiar with and never would have expected to find here in the Galapagos Islands too, such as flamingos. Did you know that there's even a species of penguin that lives in the Galapagos Islands? Among some of the more common bird species, you can find hawks and even ducks that live on these islands. The waved albatross is the only type of albatross to visit some of these islands, and only during the time of the year when there's enough wind to get it airborne. And this is what a chick looks like, hiding against the dark rocks. See how they look when they do a courtship dance together. Of the species of booby birds that come to the Galapagos Islands and make their home here, the blue-footed booby is definitely the most unusual. Notice the color of the feet. This has to do with the different foods that the boobies consume. The brighter the feet, the more nutrients the bird is getting. One of the more unique creatures on the island happen to be the marine iguanas. You'll find them all over the place on the various islands, and they seem to like to pose for pictures. They get a little bit skittish of humans, but they're always fun to photograph. And of course, the most interesting thing being that they are the only iguanas that can actually swim, as we see here. You've seen them swimming, but what do marine iguanas look like when they walk? They also leave funny feet and tail prints in the sand when they've been walking somewhere on the beach. You will also find land iguanas on some of the islands, but these do not swim. Skittish little lava lizards are also pretty common on the islands, and you'll see that they look a little bit different from island to island. The smaller ones like this are female, and the larger ones, like this, are male. One of the most common mammals you'll find on the Galapagos Islands are sea lions. They often are found in groups, and sometimes you'll even see a mother with her babies. Just be sure to give them plenty of space. While they do not fear humans, they will snap if you get too close to them. Have you ever heard a baby sea lion bleating for its mother? It may not sound how you would expect. The Galapagos Islands are a fun destination for people of all ages, from children all the way up to adults. There are activities that everyone can enjoy. As long as you keep a safe distance, sea lions don't mind your presence at all, as you can see where I was posing maybe a few feet away from them. Alongside the amazing wildlife, you'll also see some incredible vistas, beautiful beaches, and wonderful hiking trails when you're in the Galapagos Islands. Most of the islands are still very much uninhabited, therefore you will need to travel with an experienced guide, and we are happy to arrange this for you so that you can make the most of your time here and hit the most important highlights of this amazing travel destination. And don't forget, while there's beautiful wildlife above the water, make sure you take time to go snorkeling below the water too. If you'd rather do scuba diving, we can also help arrange for that. Bottlenose dolphins also live in the islands, and if you're lucky enough, you might even see some of them frolicking as you're in the boat. Remember to look out for unusual insects too, such as grasshoppers, a few different types of spiders, and more. Always watch your step when you're near the beach. Certain beaches actually have large populations of stingrays. But don't worry, your guide will point these out to you before you get to the beach. No tour of the Galapagos Islands would be complete without seeing the giant tortoises that live here. Different islands have different subspecies, and you can also go to some of the research stations where they're actually rehabilitating and reintroducing these amazing creatures back to the islands where they come from. What happens when tortoises fight? It looks something like this. The one who can stick his head up higher is the winner. Have you ever hiked through a lava tube? The Galapagos Islands offer several areas where you can do this. Ever see an iguana crossing sign? When you go to the Galapagos Islands, you will, and this is why. Unique plant species also grow here. Galapagos Islands have their own species of cotton and different types of cactuses and other plants as well. When you visit lesser populated islands, such as Isabella, pictured here, you'll notice that the streets aren't even paved, they're made of sand. And you'll notice that the street signs are carved in wood. This unique church has stained glass windows that feature various animals that live in the Galapagos Islands. You can also find many different types of seashells and coral all throughout the different islands. However, be aware that you are not allowed to bring them with you. You cannot even transfer them between islands. Because the shells are not that plentiful, they are considered a natural resource and you will face stiff penalties if you try to bring them with you. Therefore, take videos and photographs, but please leave them where you found them. Many different species of crabs live in the Galapagos Islands, even hermit crabs. The most commonly cited species of crab is the Sally lightfoot crab. These crabs are a beautiful crimson red with blue. Is this crab bothering the marine iguana? Hardly. It was just funny timing for the photograph. And what do Sally lightfoot crabs look like when they fight? Kind of like this. Whether you're visiting the Galapagos Islands as part of a cruise or a land-based tour, remember that there's so much beauty and so many things to see and do. We're happy to always help you plan the perfect Galapagos Islands tour. Call Marissa Meisters at 678-243-0080 or see our website, customexotictours.com.